Good morning to the people that they rescues is. You know that's just how I am. Go see the lady. Go sit on somebody's couch and talk about the things that are in the inside. My love come with conditions. But anyway, how y'all doing? You want to talk about it? Good morning, good evening, good night. Whichever way you find in this episode, I just want to say welcome. We're here at Want to Talk About It. This is episode 3, where we have real conversations with real people. And today I get to talk to one of my favorites. Okay. One of my favorites is Miss Wanda. I get to talk to her. She's my friend in real life. And she has a story. She has a story that I'm just excited. I make people nervous because I'm calling
Mhm.
that people to share their journeys and what makes them. And sometimes it ain't pretty. But I just want to welcome her. I want to thank her for being open to share this with you guys. And so, Wanda, can you give us a little background about who Wanda Faye is?
Girl, yes. I am Wanda Bishop. I am a master of social work, and with that degree, I am currently serving as a K-8 school counselor.
Okay.
And I live in Phoenix, Arizona, by way of Bama. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. So, with you being in social work, let's start off, with whatever everything that messes us up, childhood.
Ooh,
uh,
Jesus.
Things that shape us. I refuse to go in my kitchen with my teeth unbrushed because
Mm.
my mama said, "Don't go in the kitchen with your," you know what I'm saying? So that's
All
just,
them rules.
and I done got hit in the back of the head, for breaking that rule. So share a bit of about where you grew up and how it shaped who you are.
Oh, okay. So I grew up in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, for most of my life. Only a limited time did I live in Mobile, Alabama.
Mhm.
Um, ooh, how I got here. So I was raised by my maternal grandmother. My maternal grandmother had me from 3 days old, the way she tells the story. My paternal great grandmother called and said, "Hey, your gal done left this babe over here." Three
So,
days
and
old.
so I'm learning something new. She left you when you were born.
3 days old.
Okay.
Yeah. My paternal great grandmother had me. My grandmother Mamie. Mamie calls my grandmother May Willie, since the gal belongs to that her gal. So so yeah, that gal left his baby over here. So my grandmother goes and gets me, and that's where I was until 4.5 or 5. My mom, who was, I don't know where she was. I never even questioned where she was before she showed up at 4.5 and 5.
Because at 4.5 and 5, you ain't supposed to be asking adults them questions.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So I knew my mama wasn't there, but we ain't never
Right.
talk about why she wasn't there. Nobody, they just act like. So I grew up with my grandmother in a house full of aunts and uncles, and we were raised like siblings. Um, um, Grandmother goes to get me at 3 days old. I remember about 3 years old going to her foster home in Foster's, Alabama. And I was there for a while. Didn't know why I was there. When I grew up, I found out that my grandmother had had a nervous breakdown and we all got farmed out. I went to foster care. My aunts and uncles went to relatives until she got better.
Okay.
She don't know I know that, but that's what happened. That was another bump that nobody. We just, I left, went and lived with these real nice people, and then I was back with my family, and it was business as usual. Um, about 4.5, 5, my mom comes to town, and my grandmother says she stole me. I don't know. I just know my mama came and got me, took me back to Mobile, and I was so excited. because I get to live with my mama. But when shortly after getting there, I realized that she came to get me because she needed a babysitter for my newborn brother. Shortly after we got there, in Mobile, a hurricane came and we ended up in this FEMA trailer park. And that was the beginning of whew, the crazy. So my mom was addicted to heroin. Um, at 5 years old, I knew how to shoot up because I would watch her and her friends do
So I'm learning. Just tell y'all, I'm gonna get emotional because this is my baby,
it.
and I'm learning stuff today that I had no clue.
Mm.
It's fine. And again, what I told you before.
So we were in this FEMA trailer park, and I tell you, in my whole 5 years of living, this was the most eclectic bunch of people I had ever seen in my life. I remember there was a man across the street with no legs in a wheelchair. I remember, um, I mean, when I tell you, it looked like United Nations out there. I mean, you could find everybody out there. So we were in a FEMA trailer. My mom would leave off doing her thing, and there I was, 5 years old, with a 6 month old baby. My brother, that's my baby. That was my first baby. At 5, he was my baby. Mm.
So,
Somebody must have reported that we were home alone
mhm.
because I remember the police coming to the door and knocking, and I peeked out the window, saw it was the police, and I was terrified to open the door. I took my brother and I swaddled him in a blanket and put him in the bottom drawer of this Chester that was in the hallway closet. And I cracked him just a little bit so he could breathe. And I sat there and I prayed that he wouldn't cry. Because I knew my mom was going to kill me if the white folks got her again. He didn't have no form. I, at 5 years old, I had the wherewithal to give him sugar water. And I am convinced that's why he's so skinny now, because he was malnourished. Because hell, he had a 5 year old taking care of him. Sorry, y'all.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Oh, so
So, and I know you have two brothers.
I have two
So,
brothers, but the other one
Hannah,
he wasn't born yet.
okay.
So me and this 6 month old baby is now my baby at 5.
Hmm.
And it was, I lost count of how many times we got taken from my mama. Because when I tell you she would leave us empty well.
And they would take you from her and give you guys back to her? Well, she kept getting you from your grandmother.
No, the system. She jumped through the hoops, do whatever, do the checklist. I don't know how the fuck we kept getting back with that woman, but
Mm.
oh yeah. Um, I remember one time I ended up in an orphanage with these nuns, and that tripped me out because I had never seen nuns in real life. Like what?
And what age can you remember what age you were when you were in the orphanage?
It all of this took place between 5 and 7 years old. So my mama gets
Just
me
a
at
couple of
four,
years.
four and
Okay.
a half, and 5.
Hmm.
We're in and out of foster homes, and then we finally get placed in this foster home in Mobile with this sweet lady named Sweetie. They lived in the country, dirt roads. I remember sitting in mud puddles, chickens running all around the yard. But Sweetie had us. I remember turning 8, and it seemed shortly thereafter we get the call that my mom,
So is that the time when she was killed?
she was murdered in Atlanta. Uh,
Okay. And I'm sorry. Did she not pay? Did she not get killed? Was it a Valentine's Day she got?
she died I discovered that a couple years
Yeah.
ago cleaning out my
So
grandmother's apartment.
I'm bringing up Valentine's Day because I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna give her a minute to calm down. So I'm gonna tell you something that's a little neat because God is intentional. You're talking to two people that don't do church but do God. Don't question or judge man. Okay, but God is intentional. My birthday is Valentine's Day. Her birthday is January 7th, which is the day that I lost one of my best friends in a house fire. And we met when we got grown, after we had learned some lessons, we met. And Wanda mama actually left her with my grandmama. So my folks know Wanda folks. They grew up around each other, and her mama left her with my grandmama, and my grandmama called her grandmama and was like, "Hey, I like this little baby, but I can't afford nobody else. Y'all gotta come get this baby." So Wanda was left in the care of my family. Like my mom was on her deathbed. I didn't know she was on her deathbed at the time, but she was on her deathbed, and Wanda came to see her, and she said, "Wanda, lucky to be alive." So,
Mm-mm.
um, yeah, your mom was killed at 8.
So she was killed at 8, and we were still at Sweden living my best life. I was content. And I was okay. If Sweden would have raised me, I think I would have. I don't know. I hate to
Woulda,
change
coulda,
out all
shoulda.
these shoulda,
Yeah,
couldas, and wouldas, because
yeah.
God know what He was
But
doing.
that's a good core memory.
You're right.
That was a good
Uh,
time in
yeah,
space for you as
it
a
was
child.
that was a time I remember being absolutely happy. I mean, we would go on the weekends and pick blackberries off the side of the road. Sweetie said, if you don't bring no berries back, you don't get no pie. Well, I bought my berries back. I bought my berries back in my stomach. And I still
Give me
got a
some
pie.
pie.
I would have purple juice dripping. Everything I had on from head to toe would just be drenched in blue blackberry juice. And I still got a pie. Uh, so my grandmother, I don't know how long after, but I know I came first. I came back to Tuscaloosa first. Grandmother
Mhm.
got me. So my brother that's 6 years younger than me, he and I were in foster care together. My youngest brother was born into the system. Like my mama had him and then he went to the foster mama like the next day. So
Mm.
he was born into the system. So that's why we weren't together. So I was there and I want to say maybe I was there maybe a year. I don't know. Um Before my brothers came. Once my brothers came, they were my responsibility. Like to
Mhm.
the point where I hated my brothers because I had to feed them, bathe them, cook for them, make sure they stayed out of trouble. They weren't my fucking kids.
You didn't get a chance to be a kid.
I
You
didn't
just
get a
went
chance to
straight
be
into
a kid.
responsibility.
So I can't even start to tell you about my grandmother because She did the best she could. I will start by saying that she did the best she could, and I understand that now that I've done some of my healing and my self work. I understand that she was reaching into a bag that just had shattered, broken pieces. She couldn't pull nothing out that was gonna help me. What I understand about my grandmother, she wasn't very nurturing. I mean, she wasn't nurturing at all. She was quite the opposite. Very negative. Uh, always reminded you of your faults. Uh, I remember growing up thinking I was 300 pounds because she would tell me, one day you're going to be big as a house. Oh, and it scarred me. Some of the stuff that I just couldn't imagine why she would say such cruel things. Like, I mean, I would rather her hit me than say some of the stuff that she said to me. But it wasn't just me, it was all of us. I mean, she did a number on her kids, her grandkids, but she was broken.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, and for years before I understood it, I hated her. Like, when I left her house,
And
ah,
how old were you when you left her house?
well, I didn't leave I was 17. So here's the scenario. Because I was so broken, ah, I grew up. I have attachment issues. I have abandonment issues. I have.
And while you're calming yourself, I like the fact that you say you have, not had.
Oh no, them bitches still there.
Listen,
We
listen.
we fight it
We
out.
got different issues, but we all got them, you know. 'Cause I think sometimes we think when we do the work or we heal, like I got real bad daddy issues. You tell me you gonna do something, you don't do it. I'm done with you.
Right.
I'm done with it. So um,
Oh,
I have, even though I'm not angry with my father, I'm not losing no sleep. I'm not, but it is just that is something that shaped me in my childhood. So I like the fact that you acknowledge that you have. And I'm
oh,
just doing this, people, so I can get her to calm down because I know my friend and I know I can hear it in her voice. So I'm trying to give her a moment to reset. So you
so
you got to put out at 17.
I got put out at 17. So because of all my brokenness and my low self esteem, I became sexually active at 12, I think. 12, 13. Uh, pregnant by the time I was 14. A mom at 15. And a year and a half later, maybe two, pregnant again. So that was the deal breaker for me. She was willing to take one and let me, but that second one, and I don't blame her. She didn't know what else to do. She still had my two brothers, had a disabled child of her own. She's doing the best she can. So, uh, initially, she wanted me to abort the baby. So she calls my social worker, and my social worker come and give me the spiel about, it'll be the best thing. You're young, you don't need no two kids, da da da. And I was like, okay, you know, y'all know, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. So they sent me away. I went to go live with an auntie. they sent me to a maternity home for
Okay.
unwed mothers. It was up in I want to say Hoover, some part of Birmingham.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and it was a residential place. We lived there and we went to school there. So the plan was you had this baby, we put it up for adoption, and you come back and resume your life with your one child, and nobody will be the wiser.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's better than killing him. Uh, my aunt takes care of my one child while I go off to have and get rid of this one. But while I was there, there were girls that didn't have a choice but to be there. Like their family told them, "You have this baby, you give it away, or we will disown you." Uh, um, that wasn't my situation. Now, it wasn't the best situation, and I
Um, you you get to be. It's okay for your situation to be bad. You don't got to compare.
well at that time you got to understand I was 14,
Yeah, I know
15.
what you're saying. I'm just saying it's the adult in you.
Yeah, now
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
what my mind is
Okay.
now. But that wasn't my situation.
I get you.
I didn't want to be walking around looking at every kid in the face trying to figure out is that my baby.
Hmm.
So I decided to keep him. Jesus. And if y'all know that one.
Listen, that's one of my favorites.
Ooh, Jesus.
And if you're watching this, Josh, you are my favorite problem child. I just want you to know that.
I love my baby. I do, but good
So
Lord.
you
Lord.
come back home. You come back home. I'm just with the
So I come back
conversation.
home. My grandmother can't live there, so my paternal grandmother takes me in.
Hmm.
But my grandma dog, God rest her soul, sweetest woman I ever known in my life. So she takes me in. But she has a house full too. She has, at that time, she had a husband, two adult daughters, and a grandson already living there. And then me and my two come living. It was just a 3-bedroom house.
And then your dad, capable, incapable, just didn't try.
Ooh. um, he wasn't interested. I'll say that.
Checked out. Checked out. Got
Yeah,
you.
yeah, live right across town. But I remember the Saturdays and Sundays. I'm gonna come get you next weekend. Sitting in the windows, listening for every car till the sun went down, waiting on him to come. He never came. And on occasion he would come and get me, but it was few and far between. Uh, but I knew my dad's folks. So moving in with my paternal grandmother was real weird because we didn't have that. We didn't have that relationship. We got to know each other then. Uh, so I wanted to get out of her hair. So my dad and I decided to get a an apartment together in the projects so that I can get out of my grandmother's way. And then I got 2 kids. I think I'm grown. Uh, so we did that, and whew, Jesus,
So even though your dad had checked out, he moved in with you.
we moved in with each other. Because remember, I was staying with his mom,
Uh huh.
so we all was reconnecting, trying to make
Okay.
this poop show work.
Okay.
I got 2 kids. I'm sitting on all these people. I just felt like I was in the way. Nobody
Mhm.
made me feel like I was in the way, but I just. felt like I needed, I needed
Because
to be
people have been treating you like you've been in the way, so that's a natural feeling.
right,
That's what you
right.
have been made to feel. So I get it.
So we move out here, but my dad is an alcoholic. Not only is he an alcoholic, he's a mean drunk. He's one of those drunks that like to fight when he get drunk. Ah, oh, shoot. So, it works for a little while. Ah, and then when he realized that he couldn't, I really don't know what it was, but he wanted to treat me like I was a kid, making these demands of me, demanding that I clean up his house. I'm not your wife. Uh, I got two kids. My half brother down the hall wasn't doing jack. No. So we it went bad. Uh it was so bad that I had to buy a Foot Locker to put my kids snacks in because my brother was still. Um, my dad would turn the gas off to the house when he left, so I couldn't put the kids no food. He would take the toilet tissue with him. So all that stuff I had to keep in the locker. Buying sausage and stuff that they could eat without heating up.
And how long did this go on?
Mm, Probably a year or more.
Hmm.
Uh so my dad had told his side of the family, and everybody had their opinion. And everybody was coming over there telling me, and I'm gonna tell you, when my grandmama came and told me all you had to do was clean up, when I tell you that broke my heart shattered in a million pieces because it wasn't even about me cleaning up. They just believed him. Because why would you believe the girl with the two children? She just hot in the tail. She just this. She just that. They all counted me out.
So after that year, did you have
So,
to move or did he
so
move?
this what. So my dad comes home, and he's with one of his friends, his male friends. This particular guy, had been trying to push up on me, and I turned him down.
Mhm.
So he told my dad that when he's not there, that I had a house full of dudes and folks was coming in and out the house, and just made up a whole bunch of lies. And I'll never forget this. So my dad comes home. I'm sitting in the living room. He doesn't say anything to me. He pulls the bar out and he gets this revolver. And I sit there and I watch him load it. Cause I don't know what he doing. He crazy. So, but I never thought he was loading it for me. So I'm not sure what he said to me first, but he's telling me all this stuff, and the dude's standing there. The dude's standing there watching this and didn't do anything to stop it. So my dad saying this, and this, I ain't no punk. I tell him, if you pull that trigger, you better kill me. Because if you don't, I'm going to kill you. He put the gun to my head and he pulled the trigger and the gun jammed. Oh, when I realized that the gun had jammed, I took off because in this apartment the hallways were long, so we had a 4, 5 bedroom. I took off down the hall to retrieve my babies. I run in the room. I put the dresser in the bed behind the door, and I beat on the neighbor's wall. And I passed my babies out the window in the rain.
You need a moment. I
So,
love it.
I passed my babies out the window, and the neighbor takes me in. Uh, I immediately start trying to figure things out, where I'm gonna stay, going to housing authority. So housing authority tells me in order for me to be um eligible for emergency assistance, I have to be rendered homeless. Um, Meaning living in a shelter. So, uh, because living with relatives, they didn't consider that homeless, and I ain't
Mhm.
had nobody I could live with anyway. Because you remember, all of them had counted me out. Couldn't go to my grand. I wasn't going to my grandmama because I refused to expose my kids to that poison. Because I saw her as poison. I wasn't gonna do that. And I kept them away from her on purpose. Cause yeah, it wasn't good. So we go to the shelter on Greensboro Avenue, Salvation Army. The woman that worked there was prejudiced, low down, uh, and made it real hard for us while we were there. Uh, they had these houses that they used for family housing. So it like a 4 bedroom house, but each room housed a family. So me and my boys were in one room, and then there was this white family, husband, wife, and some kids. Every day I had to go and ask for an extension to stay another night, uh, whereas theirs got approved for the week without them having to come and ask for an extension every day. Uh, the last day that they were going to let me stay, they said, "Oh, you got to go." Uh, this
And why
poor
was there
girl,
a limit on your? And why was there a limit on how long you stayed?
because they were racist.
I'm gonna say because if it's not customary, but that was a different time. I was just wondering, was
Right.
that the rule? It's just okay.
No, that's what she was telling me, but I had peep game. They weren't going up there asking every day. So why did I have to go? But yeah, you like you said, it
Hmm.
was this early '90s, this that. Uh, uh, shoot. So the last day we got to get out the shelter. My uncle Tony. Oh, my uncle Tony. My uncle Tony pulled up because this is before cell phones. He said, "Hey, housing authority called. And they said your apartment is ready."
Mm. Ooh.
Yeah.
Mm.
Uh, and he took me. He came and picked us up. Took me to, it was in Haycourt. Took me to pick up my keys. And baby, I ain't never been so happy to see 4 walls in my life. They were mine. We ain't have we ain't have a pot to piss in, but we had a window to throw it out of.
That's what I'm talking about.
So what I didn't know, I now had 2.5 kids. So baby number 3 was baking. By now I'm 19 when I have him. So here I am, 19 years old, 3 kids. Ah, everybody had counted me out, even myself. Cause I spent most of my early adult life, I was so angry, so broken, and in survival mode. Cause I was determined to raise my boys better than uh, I had been raised. Uh, so that meant working two, three jobs at a time, all the time.
And I'm pretty sure that also means, especially with having you got family, but you don't have support. You got a couple. Your uncle. I know about your uncle Tony, and I know
Mm.
why you got emotional when you brought him up. Um, you had a person here and there, but nobody really that just stepped up for you. So I can only imagine raising those three boys. There wasn't a whole bunch of support involved outside of the family you made.
Outside of the family I made, it was not. Uh,
Mhm.
so my mom's sister, who ended up being like a sister to me, had three kids. And on the weekends, it was nothing for her to bring her kids to me, and they come Friday to Sunday, and she come pick them up Sunday. Uh, this particular weekend, Sunday never came. She had bought all three of them and disappeared.
And how long
So
did she stay gone?
it was over a year or more. Come on, I tell you, it's all blurred because it was happening in real time. But what I know
Yeah.
now, that I was
Hmm.
just in survival mode. So now I have three kids, 21 years old, three kids, now six kids,
At
right?
20.
At 21. Her kids at the time, I think the oldest was 12, the son was 10, and then the baby was 4 or 5 because I remember registering her for kindergarten. That's how long I had them. Uh, Eventually, the dads of the two oldest came and got them and took them off my hand, but I still had the baby girl.
Hmm.
Uh, Shortly after that, while all of them were still there, I get a call from my grandmother. All of a sudden, my brother, who's 17, my baby, she can't do nothing with him. Somebody got to come get him. So I go get him. Baby, when I tell you I look like the old lady in the shoe over there in Haycourt, I had kids coming out the wazoo. I had 2, 3 sets of bunk beds in one room. We were making it work. Do you hear me? I had a
And
king
do,
size bed in my room that was full of children.
I know the answer, but do you think that you took those kids in so they wouldn't be from pillar to post like you were?
Absolutely. If and absolutely, I know that because I don't want nobody, you know, feeling unwanted or unloved. I felt like I was obligated to do. Who else was gonna do it?
So
Uh,
with that foundation, when you became an adult, um, do you still suffer with trying to save people?
oh hell no, not anymore. Let me
Okay.
tell you.
How do you get how did you get to that point? Some of these I'm asking these questions because I know the answer. But
So for me, for a long time I did have the savior complex.
mhm.
But I understood that I had the savior complex because it kept me occupied and not gave me something to do other than dealing with my shit. Uh, so once I started doing my self work, and self work can mean it can look different for everybody, you know.
We talking about you though. What it look
But
like for you?
for me, it was a lot of reflecting. A lot of so I'm gonna be back and forth. I uh During the course of raising these kids, I was in and out of junior college. It took me 12 years to get a 2 year degree because life kept life. Life kept life in 12 years to get a 2 year degree.
But
But
you got
I but I got it.
it.
Uh and let me tell you, one thing that ain't never been hard for me was books and learning. You
Mhm.
know, when I was in elementary school, third grade, I went to the fourth grade for my classes. Fourth grade, I went to the fifth grade for my classes. Fifth grade, you know what I did in the fifth grade? I
Mhm.
ran reading circles in second and third grade.
Mhm.
I had my own reading circles. I did that, you know. So this just for me take 2 years, 12 years to get a 2 year degree. Yeah, that because I wanted my key, and I thought that was gonna be it. I got my little associate. Okay, we just gonna um we gonna whatever I can do with this. That's what we gonna because I thought I was gonna be a daycare worker.
Mhm. Oh, God didn't want that for her.
So. And I was gonna be content being a little daycare worker. I got all these kids. I'm good with kids. It tracks. Let go. Um. So my grandmother calls and says my brother. So I take the brother in. You fast forward 2 years later, and the third child, my baby brother, he's 17. All of a sudden, she can't do nothing with him either. And so then he comes. What I realized at
It sounded like
17,
May Willie was getting rid of them children because they weren't child credit no more.
so so here's the story about May Willie and us. Because she was my biological grandmother, she was not supposed to receive financial assistance from foster care. You know, But some kind of way, she convinced them that she the only way she would do it, and I get it now because it would have been dumb not to negotiate. You taking on three kids, One was an infant. My baby brother was 6 months old. She was starting 6 months, 2 and 8. She's starting all the way over with a disabled child. But anyway, she was getting checks for us. Each
Okay.
one of us got a check every month
Mhm.
from foster care. That's a whole nother nightmare. We didn't see the checks. May Willie was money hungry. Uh, I remember getting a $56 welfare check for my oldest child. May Willie took $20 of that every month, told me that was to teach me responsibility.
Using your own. Okay.
So,
Like
but when I get called shoplifting at Winn Dixie, you want to call and tell everybody. One down there shoplifting at Winn Dixie. I don't know why she's stealing all this stuff. You tell them you took my money. I was trying to make it straight, baby. I was trying to make that little $30, $36. And that was
so
$36 to buy all Chris Pampers, wipes, whatever they need, he needed, and all my feminine hygiene, $36 for the month.
yeah, that's and then you taking a little bit of change they give me. So because we on time constraints and I hate that, but at the same time, your boys grown,
They grown.
they grown.
They
How
grown.
old are they now?
Girl, see now you gonna put me on the spot. Oh no. I
Well, they
think
are they all in their 30s now?
they all in their 30s now. I
They
do
all in
know
their
that.
30s.
Look, Chris
Grandchildren.
15 younger than me.
Okay.
He'll be 15
So
years younger than me
three
at age
boys
14.
in their 30s, two of them married. How many grandbabies you got now?
6.
You got six grandbabies
Yes, 4 girls and 2 boys. And baby, them girls got my whole face. My whole face.
with their pretty selves. And you
Mhm.
got so you got six grandkids, boys are grown. You ended up with a master's.
I did. So over the course of the years with the boys, I went back to school. Let me tell you, because because I was an angry young lady, I got expelled. That's what y'all don't know. Class 91, I mean 92. Uh, I got expelled from high school because I couldn't keep my hands off folks. I chose violence.
And she
Uh,
still will put her hands on somebody. It just takes
I'm better now.
it takes a lot now,
I
but
try because I don't want to be a hypocrite to these babies.
right.
So I try to do better. So I went to school. I was considered a non-traditional student. Enrolled at the UA at the age of 30 something, my early 30s, late 20s, early 30s. Got my undergraduate degree, and I was like, oh, okay, we did that. And I had this guy, and my former boss, and he was like, okay, so what master's program are you going to do? Nobody said nothing about no master's. Yeah, got this bachelor. What? What is this you speak of? Because I was done. But I by then I had an idea of what I wanted to do in life. And what I wanted to do was I always used to say I wish I had a me in my life when I was going through all that turmoil. Uh and God saw fit to allow me to be a me to the other me's of the world. So I went back to school, got my master's in social work. Ah, but it wasn't about the papers. The papers didn't make me qualify to do what I do so well, and I'm good. When I tell you, I'm good.
The paper
Okay?
just made other people think that you qualified.
Well,
Uh,
I needed the papers
but you
because
need the
society
papers,
said you
yeah,
got
to
to have
show
the
the other
papers to
people you
be able to do
qualified.
it.
But your
But
life experiences
but my
is what really
experiences.
makes you a dope social worker.
So, being able to walk into a room and see a child that's being beaten, I know that kid. Being able to walk into a room when I got a kid that ain't ate in days because they mama MIA, I know that kid. Ah, being able to walk in rooms with mamas that are so broken and they don't even realize how their brokenness is affecting their kids. Hey, I know that shit. uh my favorite sentences to say is, but God. Ah, I did not understand it as a kid because before I was 8 years old, I had been through some stuff. And I'm like, God, this is just not fair. And then when I lost my mom, I was like, oh, this is just, what did I do to deserve this? But what I understand now, it wasn't what I did. He was getting me ready.
Ready for your purpose and
He was getting me ready because I can walk with the me's of the world and tell them, I know where you are, and I know it seems bleak. I know it seems dark, and it don't seem like you gonna get out of this. But I'm here to tell you because I did.
well, you answered the question that I ain't even asked. What would you tell your younger self? And that right there is, it seemed like that's what you would tell your younger self.
What I would really tell my younger self, what I tell myself all the time: bet on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I have learned to bet on me because so many times I counted myself out. Bet on yourself.
You're worthy.
Absolutely. And
You're
baby,
worthy.
but let me tell you, I don't give a fat baby's butt about what nobody think about me. I don't. Because I've had people to take my message and try to disgrace me with it. I ain't gonna never forget. Somebody brought up, I think it was a class reunion. Want to remember that time you came to school with that butcher knife? Yeah. How would I not remember that?
I did it
I did.
intentionally.
Right. But did you see me when I walked across that stage at University of Alabama 2 times?
Not one time, the University of Alabama, two
The
times.
University of Alabama. Roll Tide.
And so, with you being you're a social worker now, your purpose in the next 5 years, what do you see? Because I know you're gonna still be working in that field. Are you gonna still be working with the kids? What do you see for yourself in the next 5 years?
The next 5 years, I see myself in some capacity building the new me's. Cause baby, I'm 52. I'm about ready to, I ain't ready to quit just yet, but I want to contribute to the profession in a manner that make this a profession that people still love and are willing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes, we get a bad rap because people think we're just trying to take people's kids. No,
Mm-hmm.
that is not our job. Our job is to give you the tools so that you can be successful in life wherever you find yourself in life.
And then this is my thing too. What are you doing to make somebody want to take your kids? Because you're supposed to be protecting the kids. Somebody got to.
Right,
Somebody got to protect the kids. That
right,
because if the parents are not protecting them, then who else is it left to? And so, if you're not doing anything for your kids to be taken, then there shouldn't be no fear.
right. But
Um,
all the stigmatism come. That's my job to retrain people as to how we help. But that's what I see myself doing. Some kind of way, God gonna fix this thing so I can do this all over the world. I don't know how yet, but it's coming. Watch out.
Somehow, some way.
Somehow, some way.
I appreciate you. I knew how hard this was. I knew when I asked you that
Mm.
some tears. But I do
And I
appreciate.
know I skipped around, and I ain't even. I couldn't go.
No,
Yeah.
and that's fine because this is this whole podcast. The only reason why I'm doing it, if it's not gonna be authentic, if it's not gonna be real, I ain't gonna do it. It may not be pretty, I may not have the best set, but I wanted to help. I want us to be transparent because I wanted to help because somebody is now sitting in their midst and don't know where to go. And I hope that person that it's needed to reach sees this and it helps them get out of their mess. Because it ain't easy.
It
I
is
tell
not
you all the
easy.
time. I tell you all the time. I have privileges.
Hmm.
I do. I have privileges. Even though I'll never compare anything I went through with anybody else because you get to feel the way you feel. But at the same time, I have privileges. One parent checked out. One of them stayed in. Unfortunately,
Hmm.
both of your parents checked out, and that was unfair to you. You know what I'm saying? That was not your fault. It was
But
unfair,
God.
but God, you know what I'm saying? He saw you and he made you and strengthened you to help not only other children in your family, but you're continuing to help children. And so for that, I'm proud for
Thank
that.
you,
Your
friend.
resilience, even with all your craziness.
I know, girl. Don't I make it hard? Oh, Jesus. I thank God every day for you, though, because, baby, now some of y'all, she puts up with me.
But we all have a purpose, and I'm just one of those people that I judge, but I do understand it. You know what I'm saying? Like I do, I get it. We're all shaped, we're all, and that's why I like to know people's stories because, like you said, when you first realized who my mama was, you make sense now.
And that,
Um,
right. Well, you know who folks said? You made so much sense to me, friend, when I found out Sharon Carey was your mom. You made so much sense to me. That's why you like that. That's your
again,
mama. You ain't have no
again,
choice.
again, our lives are intertwined. She knew my folks knew her. I didn't know who she was. Before we close out, let me tell you how I fell in love with this woman. My
Yeah.
33rd birthday. This is the first year. My first year without my friend. My first year without my friend, and my friends made me celebrate my birthday. So I went out celebrating my birthday. This woman was standing on the speaker, okay, and she was dancing her heart off. Now, mind you, she wasn't dancing to the song that was on. She was dancing to the one that was
Mind
before
your
that song
business.
or after that song. Cause my friend ain't got no rhythm, but baby, she gonna
And
dance
no
her ass off.
sense
But she
did.
ain't never dancing to these songs. She dancing to she seeing in the future or she in the past. And she was smiling from it. She has, as you can see, she has a gorgeous smile. Her energy. and she was standing up on that speaker, pop locking or whatever she was doing, and she was just as content. And I looked at that woman and I asked my friend, who's a DJ, who is this woman? Because I need to be her friend. It was years later when she became my friends, but this is what my drunk self said. Because people that are authentic, people that don't give a damn about other people, are my people. If you always making moves and you can't do this and you can't do that because of who watching, I can't really rock with you. I need for you to be yourself. And I will always rock with her because she's always herself. Okay,
Always, baby. I can't be
always
nobody
herself.
but me.
I don't
God
care
bless them
how
hoes.
crazy it get. And then when I found out her story, it just makes me love her more. And you have to
Mm.
have patience with your people because I got my quirks and people be patient with me. So if you expect somebody to be patient with you, you have to be
Y'all
patient.
won't know. Y'all can't be talking and making noise early in the morning with
Oh,
me.
please don't. Be still.
Yeah, if
Get your
y'all saying spend the night with me, so don't get up talking.
hell no. I like peace in the morning.
You need to come with a parental advisory or some kind of warning.
Sit your head down somewhere and be quiet. But yeah, so I do know people had to put up with me, so don't you ever feel like anytime because y'all put up with my shit, I had to put up with other folks shit too. So I just want to say I love you and I thank
Love you
you
more,
and
friend.
I pray over this episode that it reaches the people that it needs to reach.
I pray the same, and I'm telling you, if I can do it, baby. 3 kids by 19, from GED to a master's degree.
Oh, that's a book.
Baby, listen.
That's
This
a
is
book.
this is the faith that May built. You know, I for
Mhm.
years I discredited my grandmother for all the damage she had done. But what I learned, she didn't damage me. She built some resilience in me. I take people be talking about how do you stand right back up, baby? Do you know who raised me?
But I Wanda, don't you go nowhere. I thank you for watching. Please subscribe, share the episode with somebody that you know that it
Y'all
would
can
help,
share,
or just share it anyway.
just share it anyway. It's good
So
stuff.
until next time.
Next time, friend.